Thank you for joining us today. My name is Julio Maret. I'm Director of Pre-Sales Engineering at Device Authority. In this demo, we'll showcase how our discovery tool plays a critical role in strengthening your network's cybersecurity posture. As cyber threats become more and more sophisticated, understanding exactly what devices are connected to your network and how they communicate is essential for detecting vulnerabilities and preventing attacks. Today, we'll walk you through the main features of the tool, including network scans, generation of reports, calculation of the risk score, and the configuration of the scanner plugins. So, let's dive in and start by scanning the network for potential security gaps. To start a new scan, click on the New Scan button, provide scan name, the network segment, and provide a timeout. For the purpose of the demo, we're just going to leave a default, which is 600 seconds. When I click on Start a Scan, you'll see here the top of notification saying a new start has been started, including the network segment, and the new scan is listed at the top of the list here with a pending status. So my scan will be running in the background. In the meantime, we're going to explore the other menus and options available in the tool. The next one on the list is the scanner plugins. So here you can see all the plugins are being used by the discovery tool to probe and check those ports and services running on those devices, and from that information then generate the risk score and the report that we're going to see at the end of the demo. So the first one that we see here is certificate checker. This one checks and validates its finance certificates are being used by HTTPS services or TLS servers in your network. We are looking specifically into ports 443 and A443. This is something that you can configure. So if you are running TLS services in other ports, we can add that to the scans and be more targeted or specific to accommodate your use case. The next plugin is insecure web servers. So we are looking for web services that are running over insecure ports like 80 and 8080. And the last one is the check integration. check is a partner of ours that provides us a CVE database that is being used during the validation and verification of vulnerabilities of those ports and services that are scanned on all these devices. Next is the scan logs. So here you can see all the interactions between the tool, external devices, plugins, or any other component that is part of this scan chain. So let's go back to the network scans. We can see now that we have found 26 devices. So we're gonna let this scan run in here and click on one of these scans that are already complete. So if I click on this one, lab one, then you can have an idea of how the report look like. So starting with the risk score, the lower the number, the better will be. So this one here is like halfway, not too bad, but there's some things that we need to pay attention. The risk score is calculated based on 5 buckets that range from no issue, low, medium, high, and critical severity. Each one of them is weighted, and based on the number of severities or issues that we found, then the formula will calculate the risk score. At the top, you see a summary of the scan, starting with the number of devices, 30, the number of open ports, on the 35 in this case, and the number of issues. And the last thing is the plugins are being used to calculate and generate this report. Then you can see more details about the number of vulnerabilities according to its severity level. Then there is a summary per plugin. Here you can see the certificate checker. So we found 8 certificates with a long life. This means that they have a very long validity. And 5 certificates that were good, which is great. Insecure web services, we found 11 and 3 that were ignored. And down here, the vault check, remember this one that verifies and checks the CVEs for each one of those services that we are detecting for each device. If I go to the next tab, on the details, you see more information about the scan. For example, the time that was started, the target network, timeout, and so on. Then the next tab shows the devices. So you can see here the list of all the devices that were scanned and discovered by the tool. And let's say, for example, if you click on one of them, you can dive into more details about that specific device. In this case, we can see the IP address, MAC address, host name, NIC vendor, what OS is running, how many ports are open, and the risk score. Here on the right side, we have all the CVEs listed according to the services running on each port. If I scroll down, I can find one specific to the certificates. For example, we found out that these devices using TLS, but the certificate that's configured for that service is set to almost 6,000 days, which could be a problem, right? And more information about all the CVEs that were found on that specific device. If I go back and you want to dive into more details about the scan, you can see the scan log here and see all the interactions and findings for that specific report. So if I click back to the dashboard and then click on export, this will generate a report that can be shared as a PDF file with all the information that we found about those devices and the network that we just scanned. So the first page, cover page, second page shows the summary, and then you can see information about all the plugins that are being run. And the next section shows individual reports for each one of the devices that we found, including its own risk score. If we found the one that we looked at, the DAT4, you can see here a risk score of 50 and all the vulnerabilities that were found during this scan. Okay, if I switch back screens and go back here to my network scan, we can see that my scan is complete now with the critical status. If I click here, then you can see the calculated score. We found 26 devices, amount of ports, and issues found. So this concludes our demo today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please reach out and we'll be glad to assist you. Thank you.